I think we're going to sue
Bandcamp
Bandcamp.
has not replied to anybody. Did they ever get back to you?
No, I think we're going to sue them. Normally you never say these things, like you just file, but we're in a different kind of political landscape and cultural landscape. So I think the current plan is we're exploring a crowdfund and potential class action. I think, for us, Timcast Music had probably 25,000 sales, and through Bandcamp it might be like 10,000 or something. So it's 10,000 people.
Well, the issue
and then
is
then you've got 5 Times August, Bryson Gray. Bryson Gray mentioned he was banned as well. I don't know why. They've given us no reason. They have an absolute termination clause, but I'm not sure that matters for the people who purchased a product they can no longer get access to.
They can't, yeah.
So the idea right now is I'm talking with a prominent lawyer on censorship issues, and I said, what do you think? Breach of contract. We've got customers who can no longer access a product they've paid for, and we have no vehicle by which to refund them because it went through Bandcamp, and Bandcamp terminated our accounts without notice. So there's a problem right here now. People are like, hey, I bought a song, I can't get it. Okay. And
which is breach of contract.
That sounds like it for sure.
So they have an absolute termination clause. They say we can ban for whatever reason, but that might not actually hold up in court. You can say whatever you want. Doesn't mean anything. So
what about for the users who paid the money?
Well, exactly. Right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So they still have accounts. They're still expecting to get what they paid for, and they have no access to it. So our account needs to exist.
Isn't this what happened?
They can make an argument that we can't upload to it or control it, but the people who bought the music still need to be able to get it. So long story short, the general idea is going to be to create a crowd fund that would go directly to the legal team, not to anyone else involved, for the purpose of defending this upwards of, I'd imagine probably going to be in the 20
like
or 30,000 people. Right. It could be a class action suit because you've got Bryson Gray's fans. I haven't talked to any of these people, but Bryson Gray, 5 Times August, and Timcast, the combined fan bases who purchased music through that platform, it's going to be in the tens of thousands.
Isn't this
This could be a huge lawsuit.
Isn't this similar to what they did at Patreon?
Yeah.
This is the Owen Benjamin lawsuit with Patreon.
Yeah, and there was so we'll see. Here's the thing. I don't know. I personally feel that they have breached contract between the customers, between us. They've done it for unjust reasons. That we can do whatever we want whenever we want. But I'm not sure that's true. So what we're going to do is,
and if they had a just reason, they could say what it is, and they haven't. And
I think it's simply put. You'll often hear from lawyers. They'll say something like, "There's no point in filing the lawsuit because you won't win anyway." Blah blah blah. Well, that's not what we're hearing now. What we're hearing now from these teams is we actually need to pursue this stuff to figure out what the precedent is on this kind of breach of contract, but we need the money for it. So I said, okay, what if we did a crowd fund? And then we just got, I don't know, what if we got 1 million people to give $10 and just put $10 million in the coffers of a legal firm to...
Ooh, that'd be nice. They could do a lot with that.
Well, we could then truly figure out if these companies are truly engaging in civil tort violations or whatever, and then we could actually get some judges to issue rulings on whether or not they are allowed to do these things. And I'll put it this way: the left wants to sue that baker in Colorado into oblivion, and they keep doing it. Yeah, I'm down to play the same game. I'm pretty confident that between all of the followers that the Daily Wire, anybody else has, post-millennial, they'd be willing to pitch in $10 to a law firm. None of us will go anywhere near the fund.
I would throw $10 in for that.
And then let the law firm just explore anti-censorship lawsuits.
That would be amazing.
So I was talking we'll see where it goes.
5 Times August too, and he started doing some digging into who the people are that work at Bandcamp. And it's a whole bunch of pronouns in bios, doofuses who are making these decisions.
Big shocker.
Which is exactly what we found out at Twitter, that it was all these contractors, these like third-party contracting, trans activists who were like,
I don't care about any of that.
You can't say that.
That has no bearing whatsoever on my contract with a company and the customers.
No, I agree.
And that, so they can believe whatever they want to believe. And maybe the reason they took us down is political. All I'm saying is, I think we need to have a judge issue a ruling on this, and it could be simple. Maybe we issue a initial, filing, and then the judge says, no, look, their terms clearly outlined your agreement. Sorry, have a nice day. Okay, well, now here's John Smith, who purchased a song and can't get it. He has a lawsuit. Oh, by the way, here's Jane Smith. She purchased a song. She has a lawsuit. Every single individual who now has no access to a thing they paid for, and we have no vehicle to refund their money anyway. Well, we got to figure this out. So I'm thinking we get $10 million to a law firm, have them start filing away. I don't know if class action necessarily is the right approach. I don't know the rules. Sometimes they force a class action. I think the appropriate thing is that some people gave different amounts of money, so because you could give as much money as you wanted.
Right.
So maybe the best approach is to have a bunch of individual plaintiffs, maybe 3,000 lawsuits filed all at once. Just there you go, and then we'll figure out what the
And then just go from there.
yeah. So we'll see though. We haven't done anything yet. I'm talking to a lawyer, and it seems like it seems like
Tim, what
they
you're
may have
saying
done
is
something wrong.
you don't want to just make videos complaining about the double standards. You actually want to do something and take action.
There's some other big news coming up too.
Crazy. That's crazy. We're not supposed to do that.
We're gonna do a show on one of our Culture War episodes, which is the Friday morning show at youtube.com/Timcast. And there's going to be a big announce coming soon about the efforts we're taking in defense of free speech. So stay tuned for that. And then there's this one, which I think we've just got, we can't keep falling on, well, it'll cost too much money, so there's no point in trying. It's like, well, look, I think they breached their contract, so let's at least have a judge decide. Mm-hmm. That's the point, right? Let's
even then,
figure it out.
you're costing them time, you're costing them effort.
Oh, no, nothing like that. If the judge came out in 2 seconds and said yes or no, I'd be satisfied. The question is, we have not gotten definitive answers because whenever it comes to some kind of censorship case, lawyers always say, it'll be too expensive, it's not worth it, you lose. And I'm like, okay, well, can we at least try? And like, there's no point.
Yeah.
Okay, what if we got a crowdfund together?
Well, it depends on what your goal is.
The goal is to hammer out definitively what are the rules.
Right, so then there is a point.
Because a baker can't is forced to bake a cake or whatever, and they keep suing them nonstop.
That is insane how they
But then at the
keep going
same
after
time,
that
the
guy.
left says, we can ban you, but you can't ban us. I'm like, okay, let's just stop arguing about it and have a judge decide.
Which is a fundamentally different argument,
and
though,
the left
because
go ahead.
I was just going to say, because in all of those instances, how many bakeries did you drive past before you found that one bakery? There's bakeries in every single town. With the internet and the way that it's set up in many of these cases, you have monopolies. You have many natural monopolies. Yep. And this is a fundamentally different situation. That's why Elon buying Twitter is so important, because there is only one Twitter. I have Truth, I have Getter, I have Telegram, but you know what? Twitter is Twitter, and no one's going to knock that off. This is the fundamental difference, and this is why you can't apply the same logic, because it is apples to oranges.
Yeah, and it's interesting too with the left, because they're perfectly comfortable censoring books, censoring R.L. Stein, censoring Roald Dahl, but they refuse to allow conservatives to take porn out of school.
We just had an entire hearing with Taibbi and Schellenberger.
Yes.
It shows exactly how willing they are. And this is the
willing.
huge difference between the left and the right in this country, is the left has moral clarity and the right is scared to argue from a position of this is good for society.
Well, and we see this all over the place.
Terrified.
We see this like, well, we have to be a little more nuanced about it, and perhaps, and it's like, no, I kind of am done with that.
It's ridiculous.
I think that's over.
It's you always want to play. They always want to play within the left's frame. They always want to use the liberal frame. They want to say, well, like
use the same stupid language.
The same language that we're going to argue about.
Well, I heard that word was
is this
offensive,
freedom?
so
Is
I'll
that
use this other
freedom?
word.
So I'm going to use it. Just stop. Stop apologizing for Western civilization. Stop apologizing for the
Western
United
civilization
States
is
of
the
America.
best civilization.
Yes, it's amazing. By the way, it's the reason we don't have child sacrifices to the sun god anymore. Okay, so
I don't know. The sun god seems pretty pissed off lately. We didn't have winter this year, so maybe
I was alone. Some places had pretty bad winter though. Colorado got hit.
we didn't get any
California
snow.
right
we
now.
had no snow at all.
My son was asking me that. He was like, Daddy, when is it going to snow? Because I want to make a snowman.
You had no snow?
Well, I mean, I'm only about an hour from here, so
Yeah, I
we had flurries. That's it.
I went snowboarding, and it was a brown mountain with white strips going down it from the snow machines.
Did you go up in PA?
No, we went to Timberline.
Okay, because
which is,
we drove up
West
to
Virginia, I
PA. We drove up to PA a couple of times, and it's exactly like that.
There's whitetail in PA. I think it's in PA.
Yeah, there's whitetail.
You can
There's
see it. It's
Liberty.
crazy.
There's Round Top.
Yeah.
And it's like you'll be driving through
Mud.
and then it's like mud, snow. But cool thing though is, and Livia, I know I sent you the videos of this. We actually got 4-year-old Jack up on skis for the very first time, and
So cool.
I know he and his brother AJ are watching. So Jack, you did a great job skiing, buddy.
Remember
French fries pizza.
Didn't that beaver look at his shadow and it was supposed to be winter for a long time or something like that?
I don't remember.
No, I think that was Pete Buttigieg. And what he was looking at, unfortunately, it wasn't a shadow. It was the shadow of another derailed train. In the
It wasn't his shadow. It was the
just like
smoke from the.
It was the
chemical.
toxic smoke that blocking out the sun because he signed off on a chemical attack on the Midwest and the people who live there because they voted for Donald Trump. And he said, "Oh, don't worry about that. We're totally fine if you and your progeny die out because we don't want you anymore."
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely don't.
Yeah. Well, I think in terms of culture war issues, there's a couple things that need to happen, and making culture is one of the most important things. And then lawsuits, because the left is doing lawsuits left and right. Of
course.
And the right has like sometimes.
The right will sit there and complain about Mark Elias, and I sit there and go, well, Mark Elias wins. Where's our Mark Elias? Where's this guy? Oh, the left is ballot harvesting. They're beating us with ballot harvesting. Where's the right's ballot harvesting?
Well,
Why doesn't the right
Trump said we're going to get really good at it.
Yeah,
Trump
he said that.
finally, and I'm not going to say finally, he did. He came out and said, he quote, truthed me on this. And I said, because I said, why doesn't the right have, is there a distributed nationwide network of physical congregations, okay, I'm giving it away now, physical congregations of conservatives or people who are at least center right that meet weekly,
perhaps
throughout the entire year in every single state in this country that the right could utilize for the process of ballot collection. Yes, and it's called churches. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Ballot drop boxes in every single state where it's legal, period. Make it happen.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.